Hi there, and welcome to the Code of Cinema. My name is Aaron, and we are talking Severin again today. Why? Because there's a summer sale coming on, and there has been a first announcement. We know what the first big title is coming out from Severin Films. I had thoughts on it, but it wasn't like a film that where I was like, okay, I want to rush to be I never want to rush to be the first person because I find that, well, if it's something that kind of correlates kind of with me, then yeah, it's understandable. But I never want to be first just to be first. You know what I mean? That's always been an iffy kind of meh thing with me. So we're going to go over some Severin stuff. I got a couple more recommendations for the sale. Maybe we'll look a bit into those. So I'm actually very excited. I'm getting really stoked about the Crimson Cult video that we're going to be doing, because there are so many titles, Severin titles I want to talk about that I can't talk about on here because I will get demonetized. And that's, my friends, is why we do that's why we do Patreon. So that we can talk about those Jess Franco films, those other films. I also get asked a lot of questions if the movie, if it was a joke, or the movie Cruel Jaws actually existed from Severin, because some people are newer. They're just starting on their Severin journey, and I have to say, no, it's Cruel Jaws definitely does not exist. It's not a thing. It's hey there, Swift. Hey, welcome, man. Cruel Jaws has never been a thing. There was no merchandise. Hey, Robert, it never happened. It never existed. Cruel Jaws is definitely not a real movie put up by Severin ever, just to put that to get the mythology out of the way. So we'll just remove this right over here. Anyway, Severin made an announcement. It's the first announcement, and I want to know your thoughts, because we're looking at a Frank Henenlotter movie. Now, we know that Severin has worked with Frank Henenlotter a lot before. There was a documentary that Henenlotter did called That's Sexploitation. It's an amazing documentary. If you haven't seen it, my God, see this documentary. It's really, really good. And it's not like an X-rated documentary either. This is talking about like before the X came about. It's like the nudie cuties and the medical like movies, stuff like that. But it was, and so a lot of David Friedman when he was still around. David Friedman like talks in that one, and he's a really good talker. But with that being said, I have to look into this one. I'm actually kind of excited. So I haven't looked at the features. I just looked at the announcement. So I've seen the movie. It's been a while since I've seen it. And without further ado, everybody knows this, but it's Bad Biology. Bad Biology has been announced for Severin with 5+ hours of special features, a 96-page image gallery. So this is not like a regular book. This is a 96-page image gallery book. So what we're going to do right now is I'm going to open up my my YouTube so I can see if you guys message me, which, or if any of you want to super chat or super sticker or donate, I'll see it. Hey there, Dave. And you'll get a special, not just any shout out, because anybody in any channel can give you a shout out, but you'll get right here the Ghostface Art Secret cake shout out, which only exists and is exclusive to this channel. But there's a bunch of features which aren't listed here, so we're gonna go over to my Facebook. There's my dad. Hi, Dad. Reminder: be ready to start. I think I know. So let's do. Hey, the keg. Let's do a dramatic reading. Not a favorite of yours. Let's do a dramatic reading. The actress in this one, who was beautiful, by the way, unfortunately didn't act in anything else afterwards. I think she went more into music. For his first film in 17 years, splatter master Frank Henenlotter, writer-director of Frankenhooker, Brain Damage, and the Basket Case trilogy, returned with the most graphic, transgressive, jaw-dropping, depraved black comedy shocker of his career. Jennifer, played by Charlie Danielson, who is in the thumbnail, if you're looking at this video, is a homicidal nymphomaniac who spontaneously births mutant babies. Bats, Anthony Sneed, has a monstrous, you know what, with a mind of its own. In a city ruled by pleasure and pain, will two made for each other freaks deliver the ultimate horror. Eleanor Hendricks co-stars, radio host Rujude, director James Glickenhaus, and a wildly very entertaining, seriously, we're just going to say insane film, produced and co-written by underground hip-hop hero R.A., the rugged man Thorburn, with insane FX by Gabe Bartalos. Hey, Jesse, man, welcome. All the stuff you can't say. So I can say it, but Jesse, as you know, you've been there. I think you're on my Patreon, aren't you, my man? We say this. We say it in Patreon. Nescan in 4K from the camera negative. So I'm going to guess from the OCN. So the first disc here is the 4K UHD with a commentary by Frank Henlotter, which you know is going to be fantastic. Director of photographer Nick Deeg and actor Anthony Sneed. We got a second commentary by Frank Henlotter and R.A. Then we dive into the Blu-ray of it. We get we got commentaries on there as well as Spook House interviews with a whole bunch of people in the basement with Terry Lee Danielson. A brief, complete off-kilter interview with the elusive Mitt Danielson and a basketball. I kind of need to see that. Deeg and Sneed, a conversation between Deeg and Sneed, which I guess makes sense. A swollen agenda, makeup effects artist interview. We got Beyond Bad, behind the scenes of Badbology. FF. We got a short film by Anthony Sneed, a music video, an image gallery. So it's a pretty loaded one. There's going to be a whole bunch of images and features and stuff on there. I got to get back to here because I got to change some stuff up. I want to get some Severin on the page. And I know if I go right to Severin, I'm going to get right away Lord Gemser, full frontal nudity. And if that ever comes on my screen, yeah, this video isn't going to go very far. I can tell you that right now. I'm going to give you 3 minor recommendations. One of them's going with a caveat. And first, I need coffee. All right, let us dive into this. It's kind of a 4 flies price tag. Now, that being said, how do you feel? And this is a question I got for all you guys, for everybody here. I know my dad hasn't got a 4K TV, but he hasn't gone dived over to get the 4K player yet. He's been more focused on 3D. So, Dad, I know you're here. So, questions for you too. So, if you've gotten 4K, how do you feel about that the pricing is? Do you think the pricing is at a spot now where you feel comfortable with 4K releases? And I mean like boutique releases. We know that there's going to be good and bad prices for good and bad 4Ks. Like I picked up Terminator 2 4K for $10. I'm going to not lie to you here. That was a bad 4K. It wasn't worth $10, really. That's a dollar bin movie. Not Terminator 2. Terminator 2 is a fantastic film. I saw it in theater. Love the movie. The DVD copy is better than the Blu-ray and the 4K, to be honest with you. And that's on the pit that remastered it. Don't DNR the crap out of everything. But how do you feel about it? Like this is coming out in 4K. We know there's a lot more 4K stuff coming. Boutique labels have gone 4K. Like it doesn't matter what company you're going with. If you like Scream Factory, like Blue Underground started with this stuff. They started doing some more before everybody else. You like your Vinegar Syndrome. You're good with Vinegar Syndrome. You're a fan of Severin films. This is where it's going, my friends. If you come for the Vinegar Syndrome 4K, not a Severin, that is a okay. I want to dissect that. Let's put that on the screen. Why do you feel more comfortable with a Vinegar Syndrome 4K than a Severin 4K? Is it price? Because some of the Severin 4Ks have been actually fairly well priced. I mean, when you look at stuff like the Day of the Beast or Sansa Sangre, I thought those were like fairly well priced. And I think it'll depend too on the 4K plus the 4K if you get it as a bundle or that, that type of thing as well. But I've that's the first time I've heard that. I think that really, hey there, Cos, welcome, man. Cheers from down under. That is something that's really important to look at because that has meaning. You trust Fingerson more as a company. And that's understandable. And I know your feelings about Severin, but I still think truly it's something to talk about. Which leads, I dread to ask this question because it reeks on tribalism, and I don't want to go there. But I don't know any other way about going about this one. Okay. So, in the chat, let me know if you were going to buy one company for the next 2 years. Like somebody said, okay, I'm going to give you the money to buy one company for the next 2 years. Any company at all. It's got to be a boutique label, right? So any boutique label at all. Who are you going to buy? What company are you going to buy? By the way, I'll probably put like a poll up on the community page later on. I rarely use the community page, but I will. Anyway, I thought this might be a good recommendation because of maybe what's happening. So this is Kung Fu Trailers of Fury, which is really, really good, like trailer tape. Vincent for sure, Kaz says. It is an evil question. But I'm partially evil, Steph. Welcome, Steph, by the way. You have the talented Stephanie Crawford right here. Kino for Stephanie. Vincent all the way. Help me. You're turning my question back around on me. All right. You got my honest answer? Because of what they do, because of what they've been putting it recently, it's actually between two companies. And I will narrow it down and I'll give you the one that I choose. Okay? I will break it down. At 52 years old, I should never be doing that. You're welcome. It's between Indicator and Arrow Video. Why? Here's why. Props to Simon Miller. Because Indicator and Arrow Video not only put out interesting films in a variety of genres, but they put out interesting box sets and enough different unique features that I know I'm not going to be let down. Screencast, did I do coming up? Hopefully. Here's the thing. I like Severin. I love Severin. I love Severin. I love Vinegar Syndrome. I love the stuff that they do. I love Kino. I like Kino because Kino has an eclectic taste and do a lot of different things, and they'll put out like TV shows and movies that other people don't put out. Kino for me is sort of like the network of for the UK. Network's gone, so you really want Kino to stick around. But for me, it's got to be between Indicator and Arrow, and I'm going to dive, and I'm going to say I'm going to choose Arrow. Arrow has a bit more of a broad base in what they do, and they put a bit more titles, so I'm getting a few more movies. I'd say I'm not saving any time given their discipline, subscriptions, stable website, overall financial success, and cult following. Just look at their stuff's aftermarket value. See, for me, the aftermarket value is not a thing. I'd never sell things back, but if you do, I mean, that's definitely something to look into. I'll never put shade on anybody for stuff like that. But that's a good question, and it's a good thing to answer. And I'm glad that we didn't just get Vinegar Syndrome. I'm glad Steph came in, Kino, because that's a wide variety of titles. And I can tell you right now from the month that I worked reviewing some Kino stuff, actually from them, they sent me some stuff. Um, that what an eclectic range of stuff I got, and I think they don't get noticed enough. And I talked to my better half last night, so we're talking because I'm trying to decide like what I'm doing, and I'm actually um, last night I didn't make any videos, and I had some people contact me. And I said, well, I do other things on the channel that you don't see, and one of the things I'm doing right now is I'm like watching some editing videos and just trying to like up my game a bit. So that was what I did last night. I think the packaging is a qualifier now. Today's the purchase title. They say it's all about the movie, but you can get the movie anywhere on the internet. You can't though. There's the thing. If you could, Jesse, then everybody on this internet right now would not be talking about the French Connection. I have Stone Cold. I love the movie. I got it from 101 Films. So do I don't know if I need. I'll have to check it. The features. See if I need to get it again. It's a fun one. I'm going to guess Steph is getting it. One of my favorite Kino releases, and I bought that on DVD, and I haven't bought like the Blu-ray of it yet. Was in the kind of an 80s, the most 80s action film ever made. It starred Martin Cove. And For the Life of Me, Steel Justice, that's what it's called, Steel Justice. I just thought it was just a great freaking release from the opening scene. There were no features on it, but the movie was so good, and it was so 80s. I'm from the 80s, like literally. I to this day, you can tell. My favorite TV show of all time is not Game of Thrones. It's not, it's not The Wire. My favorite TV show of all time is Miami Vice. I think that is the best TV show that's ever made. I will go on that hill, stand on it. I'm good with it. Even with the Alien episode with James Brown, Miami Vice is still my favorite show of all time. But yeah, Arrow with Indicator being second. As much as I love Severin, I love Vinegar Syndrome. I'm not gonna lie, they wouldn't be in the top three that I would choose from. It's just an element of scarcity and seeing purchases. I understand, but I think as far as like, if I was going to say, okay, what's the best company when it comes to like promoting their stuff? What's the best company when it comes to that? It's Vinegar Syndrome. They do it better than anybody else in the world. That's that's how they've gotten to where they've gotten right now. Because I will be honest, it's not because of every Vinegar Syndrome release. Like I love a lot of the releases, but I'm weird. I'm not a normal consumer. I buy and unironically enjoy movies like Hitch and Dark and Fear. That's my type of stuff. But Vinegar Syndrome has managed to get people that would not buy this stuff, that had previously no interest in this stuff, but their keys in front of their face, say, look, it's shiny, and they will buy it. They will buy it, and they will, and that, you know what? And they'll see the numbers, they'll see the cases, the boxes, and they'll be like, oh my God, I've got to buy that. And there are people out there that got a complete Vinegar Syndrome collection that they have not watched, over half of them. I'm willing to bet. So I think this is a good question. I actually just watched a video recently with Christian Hannahor, Planet CHH. Oh, really good, by the way, really good, constantly, consistently good videos on his channel. If you're not watching them, definitely check him out. And let him know that I sent you there. Because I'm not sure if he knows I exist. But yeah, I think they peaked with Friday 13th. Some people think they peaked with Halloween because the issues with Friday 13th. I didn't mind the issues. I thought the issues were kind of silly with Friday 13th, actually. I got the bonus disc, it was okay. But there was nothing on those other discs where it was a make or break for me. Like, oh my God, the 3D isn't out as much at the opening credits as it is in the rest of the movie. And the craziest one that I've ever saw was they put out, I remember Scream Factory a long time ago put out Army Darkness, right? Army Darkness. Like, it was a 3 or 4 disc. I got it up there, 3 or 4 disc set. And one of the versions of Army of Darkness did not have a scene where Ash jumps over a fence. And a section of the internet lost their minds. It was like, oh my, there was like 3 or 4 cuts of the film on there. They weren't missing that scene. It was just in this one version of the film that it didn't have it. So it was a mess. It was like, I can't, they've dropped the ball. They've lost it. That is it. Shame on you, Scream Factory. There's a callback for you guys. And I was like, are you serious? Is this what we get upset about nowadays? When all this stuff is coming out, has it gotten to this point? Are we that spoon-fed that these are the things that we get upset about? We can get upset about, like, I don't know, large prices on box sets, like I did, and did a complete rant on it. I'm such a hypocrite here. Anyway, no, I think Scream Factory, to a certain extent, has peaked in a way. Do I think Scream Factory can come back and have another renaissance? Very much so. It really depends. Yeah, Alley Cat with cut nudity because of that ratio. Yeah, like there's so much nudity in Alley Cat. Like the fact that you're like, man, I missed a bit of nudity. How much do you need? Like, how much do you need? My God, man. We all like what we like, but how much do you need? This is something to talk about. Make sure the Scream Factory are quality control. Yes, that's one of their biggest issues right now, Max. Such as scratch discs, which have become very common with their new releases, and that's not something you expect to see a scratch disc if you go to Value Village or a pawn shop, right? You expect to get a scratch disc here or there. You don't expect to go to your local shop. I don't know, your FOP, your HMV, your Sunrise Records, wherever you go. Your Bay Street Video. Shout out. Buy a brand new movie. Open it up. Take it out of its wrapper. Look, here we go. Dramatic reenactment. Open it up. Take it out. Like, what the hell? Now, surface scratches, they can happen. It happens in a factory, that type of stuff, right? Postage costs. I understand that. I'm in Morocco. I understand that a lot, man. And Morocco's been okay. I've been asked, I hope Morocco working out for us guys. Pretty good. I miss Walmart of all places, and I miss my family, of course. But my daughter's birthday is in 2 days, and I would love to have been there for that, but unfortunately I'm not going to be there for it this year. We'll FaceTime. Because of like Morocco. I kind of started to realize that when Apple had the WD, the worldwide the WWDC like conference. So when they showed the headset, Apple Vision Pro, and I'm like, oh, and you can take like 3D pictures and you can like FaceTime, and I'm like, and it's $3,500, and I'm like, yeah, I'm buying that. That's how life has changed. I think when they release Elm Street 4K set, Scream Factory will see another. You're going to have people. Here's the thing. The Elm Street set, I think, should have been released by now, and it's not Scream Factory's fault. Through different people, through rumors, only rumors, by the way, and hearsay, nothing. Nothing. So I'm stating nothing as fact. Scream Factory have worked very hard to acquire and produce an Elm Street box set. That's been one of their big things. Something that they worked hard on to the point where I think they were talking to people about working on special features. That was a while back. And the company that owns the rights to the Elm Street franchise haven't been working with them, and that's been the issue. It's never been Scream Factory not wanting to put out. I can assure you, if Scream Factory got the Elm Street franchise rights, just to put out even once, you would have set like, let's look up, looks way up, like that Halloween or Friday the 13th set up there. And no matter what people want to say about Scream Factory, we got stuff like that because of Scream Factory. Company of Wolves is something I never expected to get a 4K. It's a great film, by the way. I don't have the 4K yet because I'm not in Canada. I can't get it yet. But it's something that I want. It's a Neil Jordan film. Of course I want it in 4K. And it's a beautiful film. Angela Lansbury's in the film. I'm a huge Angela Lansbury fan. Murder, She Wrote, my second favorite show of all time, I think. But they put it at Suffolk Alligator. And I get asked questions about like 4K. So I get asked about like, okay, my 4K is skipped. What do I do? Wipe it most of the time. That's all you really got to do. 9 times out of 10, like you got a 4K and it skips out and it's brand new. It's off gassing. Look at the case. Something that happens, wipe the case, wipe the disc. You're gonna be okay. Not all the time, but like sometimes there's issues with certain players, with certain discs, that type of thing. But most of the time, it's off gassing. Exactly. And let's hit right there. The Scream Factory Shaw Brothers set, Volume 1. It looks really good. And there's a Volume 2 coming out. And I think this is kind of what we're going to see. We're going to see a lot more 4K from Scream Factory, right? We're going to see a lot, obviously, and they're going to re-release stuff. It happens. All the companies are doing it. Get used to it. If you bought a Blu-ray something in the past, that's okay, man. Hey, Eddie, welcome, man. Except it's Severin sale, but haven't seen Bad Biology. It's an okay film. I mean, it's not my favorite Henlotter film, but it's definitely an interesting film. It's different. I mean, like we're getting to the point, and I think it was Plant CHH that said, I'm pretty 99.9999% sure that Plant CHH said that for Scream Factory to really hit it, now one of the things that they got to do is dive into 2000s horror. Because first, when Scream Factory started, they did like 80s horror, right? Yeah, 80s horror, did a little bit 70s, mostly 80s horror. A lot of slasher stuff. Like the first 2 releases are Halloween 2 and Halloween 3. Everybody flipped out, man. And then you got stuff like, by the time They Live came out, like the Scream Factory train, it was running. It was like chugging right through it. But then they started doing like some 90s stuff. Oh, what's this 90s stuff? They're an 80s company. They're doing some 90s stuff. And then we got some good 90s stuff. We got some stuff like Stigmata. And then we got like just some really cool little 90s films. And we're at the point now where like, there's a bit of nostalgia for the 2000s era. Like more than a bit of nostalgia, right? Yes. And here's the thing. They did. And no takebacks. Well, no takebacks, right? I love Thriller, Cruel Picture. It stars Christina Lindbergh. I'm a big fan of Christina Lindbergh. It's not my favorite Christina Lindbergh film. But it's definitely an interesting film. It's my dad type of film, for sure. Yeah. Blade in the Dark slipcover hard case is really well done as well. Like I said, they are the Vinegar Syndrome are the William Castle of movie boutique label companies right now. And I want to preface this by saying, when I say this, this is not a knock. I buy like a ton of Vinegar Syndrome. I love their stuff. They speak to me with a lot of their releases. They really do. Except the Cardona stuff. That, you guys know, doesn't speak to me. Ebola Syndrome doesn't speak to me. Why? Because I've got epilepsy and I don't want to watch an hour-and-a-half movie of people having lots of seizures. So I can see that in real life by not taking medication, and not something I want to see. But I digress. They're the William Castle of movie companies right now. And nobody does it better. As Carly Simon would say. Nobody does it better because they will look at a film. Let me give you an example. I got a lot of Scream Factory. Oh, sure, a lot of Vinegar Syndrome too. Let me give you an example. So we're going to go about this 3 ways because there's 3 levels that stand out for Scream Factory. You ready for this? So first, You got super quality films like Patty Hearst, Paul Schrader film, excellent movie, fantastic cast, wonderful film. You know how much people talk about this one? Not very much. Not very much at all. I don't know why. It's one of the best things they got in their catalog. The hidden gems. These Ruben Galando Jr. films, amazing. Incredible stuff. I don't know if they do actually, but that I'd be interested in finding out actually. Incredible stuff. Maybe they just got a deal for certain ones. Then there's this. This is Pandemonium. Look how amazing this cover is. Look, it's a beautiful cover, right? Fantastic. I'll even show you the inside. Look, this cool looking cracked Mad Magazine style alternate artwork. Isn't that amazing? Alfred Soul directed this. It's got like Carol Kane and Tom Smothers in the movie. Paul Rubens is in this film. You know what this movie is? Not very good. Not very good. Just because I enjoy company and I like the releases doesn't mean I am going to be it. I'm not going to be honest. This is objectively not a good. Do I like it for silly fun for what it is? Yeah, for what it is. Okay, it's fun. I'm glad I got it. I bought it with the slipcover because it's me. I make no bones about it. But is it objectively a good film? No. There's a lot of this. Other companies have grown and flourished through the partner program as well. TerraVision is an example of increased success. TerraVision, Fancy Edition started with them, Warlock. A bunch of companies have. And some companies have recently left. And you go on to do other things, you get maybe different deals, and you have to wonder, and you wonder why. Like Fancy Editions, like for a lot of us, I'm going to guess most of us, like we found Fun City Editions through Vinegar Syndrome, through their partner label. So for those that like are unaware, Vinegar Syndrome, it's a label, right? But it's under OCN, this distribution. And OCN distribution does the partner labels. Vinegar Syndrome does partner labels as well. So they got a partner label program. And when they started that, there was a couple labels, and then it started to become to the point where at one point I was like, yeah, these partner label announcements are kind of like overshadowing some of the Scream Factory, some of the Vinegar Syndrome announcements. And that was around the time that I was a subscriber. So that's the time. That's the one time you don't want to be saying that, is when you're spending a lot of money for Vinegar Syndrome stuff, and you wish they were sending you the partner label stuff, sometimes over some of the releases that you were getting. I feel like I'm being negative here, but I'm really not trying to be. I mean, like, I love Vinegar Syndrome. I love their stuff. But it's just to give a correlation and like how good they're doing. This has been my least favorite like year so far of like release announcements for Vinegar Syndrome. And overall, not that there has been some great stuff. There's been some great stuff, and most of it I want. But in previous years, there were announcements that I need. We made you. But it's changed. It's changing, and I think that Vinegar Syndrome is on an upswing. And we've had times when Anchor Bay is on an upswing, when Scream Factory is on an upswing, and this is the time when you got to look at your company and see the best way that you can continue this growth that you're doing right now. And Vinegar Syndrome is doing it in a way that I think is going to be successful. Do I think it's going to peeve off a few members? Like, yes. And I'm going to correlate this with Arrow Video. Evil Laugh is a film. I'm a slasher fan, Jesse. I'm a slasher. I grew up in the 70s and the 80s. And even I'm like, Evil Laugh, a bit of a stretch, but okay, I'll take it. But here's the thing. When Arrow Video, that did like a lot of like exploitation, giallo slasher stuff, when they started doing box sets like Battles with Honor and Humanity. I flipped the hell out. I'm like, I was online. You can find posts of me online saying, what the hell is this? This is not what I want from Arrow Video. I'm never going to buy that type of stuff. Who'd want to buy Battles Without Honor and Humanity? Not me. Let me see some more slasher stuff. And I think Vinegar Syndrome is smart enough to realize that they're oh, thank you, Stephanie. We got a $10 donation from Stephanie Crawford. Thank you so much. This is what keeps it. See, our donations, our super chats, and our super stickers, our patrons. You keep this channel going. As my better half lets me know when she's out, because I used to have it on. I used to use OBS, and OBS would like let me know whenever anything came up, like a new subscriber donation, that type of thing. OBS changed, and I've got to relearn OBS, so I got to use StreamYard all the time now. But thank you, Steph. Oh yeah, but Roy, I was like a whiny little brat. Where's my slasher? Wow, that was me. That wasn't anybody else. That was me. Like, I'm not pointing at anybody else that was doing it. I'm pointing the finger directly at me. And what am I holding in my hand right now? The box set. And what did I think it went about? This is amazing. This was the future of Arrow. I was not aware at the time how big of a future. Like, look, from this, we birthed the Shaw Brothers set that's over there, right? Shawscope. But it is amazing to see how they're growing. And here's the thing. Vinegar Syndrome is at that point right now where they cannot continue to do the same thing and have, because you do the same thing over and over again. What happens, my friends, is eventually you start to get diminishing returns because you've reached the level that you can reach. And as a content creator, and I know there's a lot of you out there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You can only talk about the same thing so many times before you've got to either branch out or go into a different medium. Those are two of my most wanted requested things. American Horror Project Volume 3, Canadian Horror Project Volume 1. I would kill for that. Just call it exploitation. Volume 1, because I want to see different volumes. Sudden Fury. But everybody, by the way, Vinegar Syndrome title everybody should own. Sudden Fury. That is a Vinegar Syndrome title. Absolutely done right. Absolutely amazingly done right. Because it's something that a lot of people didn't know. I did because I'm Canadian and I'm weird and I watch a lot of weird movies. But when people saw it, Sudden Fury, The Collar, those are the type of things that I want to see. What I know we're going to see is more of Amityville. We're going to see more of Showgirls. We're going to see more of things that may have been earlier. Some stuff up here. See my Scream Factory, like release up there. Some of the early stuff that's out of print. Oh, really? Guess you can't say much. Hey there, Ox. And they have to do that. They have to expand that. There has to be the Showgirls and the Roadhouses. There has to be the Rads out there. Because here's the thing. If you want to see Vinegar Syndrome put out your favorite releases of films that you want, if you want to eventually see, I don't know, Gregorio Diodado's Body Count, right? A lot of people want that. I want that. I'm one of those people. Those people are me. And wait, I just realized something. Steph has brought on this. For those who don't know, every time you get a donation or a super chat or a super sticker, you get your official Arts Decree Ghostface cake shout out. And Scream Factory had the same thing happen to them. It's like people eventually will complain about what's coming out, but they have to look at where the market is going and where they can get the widest amount from, because it's the money for the bigger releases or the releases that you may not. Cake for Brock is right on. And it's tiramisu. I hope you like tiramisu, Steph. That was tiramisu. Well, I cannot believe that the incredible family. By the way, married into an amazing family, and the fact that like one of the sisters made that cake, and that's not even the most amazing cake she's made. Trust me, that blows my mind. Anyway, um, but the fact that that there that we want to get these releases, I want to get movies like Body Count. I want to get like movies like some of the lesser ones. I want the bigger stuff like Elm Street and that too. We want those franchises, but that means we're going to see stuff that may not be first run on what you want to get. There may be like 4K screen, like you may have it. You may have been collecting Screen Factory from the beginning, like me. I went to my local Best Buy, picked up Halloween 2 and 3 on release date on Blu-ray, and I started collecting them for like I was religiously collecting them for a while. So I got a lot of the early stuff. So a lot of the stuff that Vinegar Syndrome is putting out in 4K um, is stuff that I got on Blu-ray. Now that being said, Vinegar Syndrome is not a company that rests on their laurels when it comes to 4K releases. This is something that I really think has to be mentioned with Vinegar Syndrome, and I think it's an amazing thing to mention with Vinegar Syndrome is that if you look at my Blu-ray of Schizoid and X-Ray, love those movies by the way. And like mentioned, the 4K restoration that they do is insanely good. But beyond that, like some companies will say, okay, we did the 4K restoration. That's good. That's great. We'll just port some features over. Not Vinegar Syndrome. Whenever they can do it, there are new interviews, there's documentaries, there's big like making ofs behind the scenes. Fear. It was a movie that I'm sure was a bit of a risk for them to put out. No, it wasn't the most like loved film. I love it. I'm in the minority. I know I'm a weirdo, but I think it's a really cool film, and I want to see Fear 2 come out. There's a great documentary on Fear, and who else would put out Fear and not like put out like maybe a Talking Head? You know who? Maybe you're the company that we're complaining about right now, which is Screen Factory, because at the end of the day, they when I wanted to see Valentine put out, when I want to see Silent Night, Deadly Night 1 and 2 put out, when I want to see Urban Legend put out, when they came out, they came to the plate, they stepped up, and they put out their A game. If you look at the Urban Legend disc that was put out by Scream Factory, oh my God, there's a second bonus disc, which is a featurette, not just a making of, but the entire like focus just all the way down through, like just from pre-production to right all the way through, and it's just amazingly fascinating. Do you get annoyed by sometimes when companies choose to release, like Screen Factory is releasing private parts, and I said, hey, that's a Vinegar Syndrome title. I think we've gotten to that point where it's no longer a certain company title, because boutique labels have had to evolve. And here's the thing: you can't go to your local Walmart or Best Buy. You can go, but you're not going to see as much there, right? And even labels like Paramount and stuff like that have started to try to ape what the boutique labels are doing to try and give that type of feel to what they're releasing, because that's what's successful. But in a lot of cases, as the company gets more successful, and as the type of stuff that they put out the well gets a bit, you get more people dipping into the well. There's not as much to go around, so you got to expand. So that's why Severin puts out stuff like Overboard. That's why we got Showgirls selling extremely well from Vinegar Syndrome. It's why we're starting to see, as like just Rye just mentioned here, the Cat 3 and the Tabata films would never get releases without Showgirls. Exactly. Would never, like, without Roadhouse, without things, even things like Death Wish 2, 4K. So I did initially, Jesse, it used to bug me, like, oh God, but no, this seems like it's meant more for this company. And then I realized that they've all moved on from, this is my stamp, this is what I do, this is all that I do. And it was a great thing when you're starting out as a label. You're trying to get your identity, right? So you want to say, okay, Arrow was like, oh, we do the Argentos, we do the Scream Factory stuff. Um, Severin, we do Jess Franco. We get the Jess Franco stuff that nobody else gets. Vinegar Syndrome recently put out of Jess Franco double feature. But you get 5 to 10 years into your life cycle, and they're like, well, we can't just do this, or we can't put out as much, and we can't make as much because there's going to be all those Francophiles like me that got the Stephen Thrower books that want every Franco film on Blu-ray and 4K. But we're not, you know, we're not the majority. You need to cater a lot towards casual people. And there was a time when you would say casual, and it was like wrestling, for instance. If you said casuals, it was a bit of an insult, right? It's a bit of gatekeeping stuff being done. Where it's like, oh, it's a casual. They don't really understand. They don't understand me. But if you want your stuff out there, if you want to get your stuff, this is how you do it. Further variety, you discover new experiences that way. It would be boring if the same release is released every year. And I think that's part of the reason, Warlock, right now, that there's a bit of Scream Factory fatigue, right? Because we're seeing a bunch of 4K releases of stuff that we've seen Blu-ray releases of. But unlike what we've seen with Vinegar Syndrome, is we are not seeing a bunch of new features put on a lot of these releases. I have not yet picked up the latest Franco Blu-rays. I eventually need to get them once I get back to Canada. I'm hoping to get them. First, I need to work, and that means working on this channel a hell of a lot. Your brother bought Rad. Would never buy the other stuff. Exactly. But that opened up the door, Roy, for your brother to know that Scream Factory, one, they exist. Two, they're a company to look back at. I remember when Rad was coming out. I went to a Rad fan page to see, because I'd forgotten what Rad was. It'd been years since I'd seen it. I did not know it had a fan base, especially the type of fan base it had. And for years, apparently, people have been buying like bootlegs of Rad and like and people have made like livings off of doing bootlegs of Rad. I kid you not, that's the thing. So when it was coming out, people were like, is this legit? The Scream Factory, real company? Is this another like shady bootleg? You would not believe the amount of people that legitimately, in all earnestness, asked that question. They did not know Scream Factory was something that existed. Rad told them Scream Factory was something that existed. They had no idea before. Scream Factory, sorry, Vinegar Syndrome. And it brought like new eyes to Vinegar Syndrome. It made that sale, if you remember, guys, insane and great. And Showgirls did the same thing. And I was like, huh, Showgirls? I can't believe that's going to do anything. I've got mini cups of Showgirls here. I'm not sure why I chose that voice. But never in my life I've been so glad to like be totally off the mark. Showgirls did amazing. I want that release so bad right now. I'm not going to lie to you guys. It's a bit of FOMO right there. And I would agree with Warlock when he says Scream Factory is being a bit lazy right now. It's kind of resting on stores, and I don't like all the exclusivity things on sites. That does bother me a bit. When if you go to Scream Factory, for instance, and you want to get a release of a certain film, I got one of them over here actually because I bought during the sale. You got to go out. I love Showgirls. I have no problem admitting Warlock. You got to go out and you got to go and you order directly from the site. I have never been a fan of. I understand it. It didn't sell out yet, but it has done extremely well. But it's I've never been a fan of like site exclusives or like buy this, get an extra slipcase, and have the lesser what somebody considers the lesser slipcase be the one that goes in the stores. And but here's this really cool slipcase, but you can only get it if you order it with two slipcases and a and a poster and something else for exorbitant prices. Just not a fan of that. I love some of the stuff like Creepshow is coming out, and I got Creepshow their Blu-ray. Do I want the 4K? I really do. It's going to be a bit pricey. It's not as pricey as some of them, thank God. Creepshow I can eventually see getting. But Severin Kids line started. Kids can buy peanut butter solution with mom and dad. Well, mom and dad buy Symphony Wharf. Yeah, and two female spies with flowered panties. I got a feeling two female spies with flowered panties did not, unfortunately, have as many sales as I wanted to. Getting cutting, yeah, exactly. Was it five, Steph? Five slipcovers. It was luckily a one-time thing. And I think you only got all five of them if you were a subscriber. And I think it was a way for Vinegar Sim at the time to say, okay, you never know when this is going to happen. Become a subscriber. I think it's the type of thing that luckily didn't, but could have set them back. It was definitely something that could have set them back. Oh yes, that's what I'm hoping they put out next because it is insanely bad. Like, don't think Showgirls 2. If you've never seen it, Jesse, don't think it's gonna be like Showgirls. But it's quite a film. Yeah, it was wrong. It was a bad take. Like, no two ways about it. It wasn't a good thing. And I've seen like companies do the two slipcover thing, and I'm okay with that. I'm still, do we need the extra slipcover? Do we really? Do we? It's okay, but where do you put it on? I mean, are we gonna buy a second copy of the film? You're just gonna switch it back and forth? Is one of them get beaten up over time? I got like two copies of like the spooky slipcover because one of my viewers actually sent me the other one because I missed out on one, and it's one the viewer gave me that I use because that's the one that I really like. I got two, faded black, two different faded black ones, but there's only one that I really love that I'm going to use. Yeah, that was the other thing too. It could have been devastating for them, and the way they handled it was so bad, and it was so unlike anything else Vinegar Syndrome has ever done. As far as the way that they did it, they marketed it aggressively, and then they doubled down by saying, "By the way, if you don't get this, we're going to destroy them. We're not coming out again. We're destroying. We're putting them in a paper thing, and we're just destroying them." Bad take. Overall, it's a bad take. But they came back from that, and they are now the most popular boutique label. I would say, I would hazard a guess, probably the most popular boutique label on the market. So between that and where they are right now, it's astronomical, like how well they've done. I can imagine that other companies are looking at Vinegar Syndrome and being like, how do I replicate that success without replicating exactly what they're doing? What do I do? Vinegar Cinnamon, Severin, when I have these halfway to Black Friday sales, I'd get excited, but like both of them, see what's coming out from each of these. This year, Vinegar Cinnamon did their halfway to Black Friday sale, and there was a radio silence from Severin. Like we're talking about it now, right? And then Severin decided to do a Severin summer sale. I'm like, oh my God, that's genius. That's genius. Why put it up right against when you can like surf, literally summer sale, right? You can surf the wave of the hype and the still like positive vibes after that sale. If you're not going up against it, but you're like, people have they're starting to get the Vinegar Syndrome release. They're waiting for the Vinegar Syndrome release. They're starting to get the releases. There's, they're just coming down from that high, that euphoric feeling that a collector, not a collector anymore. I'm going to say the word curator. The curator gets. That's what I am, a curator. Be pretentious. That a curator gets when they after a sale, and you go, oh God, the sale, that adrenaline rush, that fantastic sale rush. It's the sale's over. I gotta wait till November, and then bam, there's another big sale coming, and it's a good one. It's a Severin sale, and they're about as close to Vinegar Syndrome as you can get. They're like sisters. They're like sisters. They're not like companies that people try to tend to put like, what's better, Severin or Vinegar Syndrome? Da da, fight. When in actuality, they're like sister companies. They're friends. They like each other. it's like us. We put this stuff on them. Do my kids buy Vinegar Syndrome, or do they leave that stuff? My kids, my oldest especially, is a 4K collector. So she does tend to look towards Screen Factory a lot when it comes to 4Ks, but it depends on the movies that she likes. You can definitely make Shameless, but for boutique crowdfunding, like, no, it is perfectly fine. As always, Roy, put it in there. Definitely put it in there. Put it in there. Put it in the comment section down below too, so people that aren't seeing it live see it. Have no problem with that. No, they don't see. Now, there's the thing. The malfunction. There's two big sales that ever malfunction in a row, and they'll be haunted for it forever after. And you know that's true, Jet. I know you know that's true. That it's really only two sales in a row that you really botched. And even the one that got botched, where I literally had to look at a kind of a spreadsheet, go online, and email my ordering. As we wrench the post links, do you really? How do I do that? How do I wrench again? Give me a second. I think I did it. I think you should be doing it now, Roy. If I did it correctly. No, it's okay, because that's the thing. You're giving your opinion based on the experiences that you had, and I wouldn't want you to do anything else. I would never want you to come on the channel and not be 100% authentic. I think you're safe and Severin. This is another flash. Oh, that box of flash was so good. There you go. Make sure to check out that link from Roy, by the way. I know the one he's talking about because we're on Facebook together. I'm behind on Severin, unlike you, Steph. I'm so behind on Severin right now. So for me, it's been one of those. One of those things where oh God, there's so much I need. There is so much I need. And it's brilliant, and it's frustrating. So every time I go to Canada now, I try to go at least twice a year. I've been there once, and I'm going to be going there hopefully, fingers crossed, in September. That I try to have enough money to get things that I want to get. So it's cheaper to buy electronics there. So I want to buy PlayStation 5. So I'll get that around there. So I want to go around the time that stuff like the Apple Vision Pro is coming out, because I want to buy that. And so I'm gonna, and that is sent me to the point, do I travel to Canada for a month or two and work there for a bit so I can just get those things? Because I'm not PewDiePie. It isn't coming from here. But just having an intricate budget, only I can barely understand. You are so lucky. I won't say where you're. I know area that you're in. I think unless you moved. Well, not your area you're in. Not like inside your room, your apartment, or whatever. But I know the state that you're in. So yeah, here in Morocco, we don't have a lot of physical media. So I'm in Marrakesh, and physical media stuff here is pretty much non-existent. There's like a new mall coming here actually. It's going to be made next year. They're actually fast tracking it, called the Marrakesh Mall. I know, super original, right? But it is massive. It's going to be as big or bigger than the one in Casablanca, which is a huge mall. And it's going to have it is potentially going to have a store there that is going to be selling physical media, much in the same way that the Casablanca Mall has one that sells physical media, which I hope they still do, because I got a lot of good stuff from there, a lot of Arrow stuff from there. Got my Cloud Tribal set from there. Next buys are the Emmanuel and the Steckler boxes. Interesting sets. I mean, like I want the Emmanuel set really well, like, and I want the Steckler box set eventually too. I had a chance to buy the Steckler box set twice, and I passed up on it during my last time in Canada. Next time maybe the trigger pulling point, but it depends. I got to buy a few other things. Oh yeah, it's great that they work together because we get great films. Because that's how we got the Dracula and Frankenstein, Flesh for Frankenstein, Blood for Dracula. I had heard that initially those could have both came, by the way, from Vinegar Syndrome. Both of those could have came from Vinegar Syndrome. David Gregory is the biggest fanboy of Video Nasties. It's how he came to do what he does. And because of this, he tries to put out as many Video Nasties as he can on the Severin label. And Blood for Dracula was a dream for him. Conventions are definitely like Rye. If you got a convention, come by because you're live in a bigger area right now. I'm pretty sure the best place to check is our conventions for stuff like that. Because I'm not going to lie, I'm gonna be slightly mean here, Rye. Look at the sexiness of this. I was like, you son of a bitch. But yeah, it's check convention stuff for those sets. Don't pay exorbitant prices, but it's a good set. I know how you feel, man. I felt the same. I missed out on getting the Ray Dennis Steckler set with the Cash Flag mask, and I wanted that mask. It would have been amazing for my videos. Do you know how often I get the chance to use like I do. I'm like a mask guy. So for those that are unaware or haven't watched many of my videos, I've got a Scream mask, a really nice Scream mask that I use. The Orphan Killer mask like pops up in my videos a bit. I got some Lucha Libre masks that show up. Were you hoping that they would let you do like? Were you hoping they would do the? Oh, right. Severin Cellar. They should have been. They should have put you in the Severin Cellar. You should have been able to do that. Did you put any feelers out, or did you like say, okay, I don't want to be unprofessional? Because here's the thing, and I know you're going to be professional. At the point where it's something that I really want, I'm not. No, I'm going to ask. I'm going to ask. I'm going to say, if I'm near anybody remotely related to Criterion, and I know I'm going to be in the Criterion area, and I'm like, you know what? You haven't really had a YouTuber in the Criterion closet. So make it happen. Let's make it a thing. It can be mutually beneficial. Can you imagine getting a Criterion closet or the Severin Cellar? Like they're two very different things, right? But can you imagine it? And I'm guessing like they must have a limit on like, okay, remember, you can pick up so many things. I'm like, you got me on camera. Ha, psych. Of this and of this and of this. The Varda set. I'm grabbing that. Well, okay, where's the Merivin people set? I need that one. It's just such good stuff. And I love those. I mean, such a brilliant thing. A brilliant thing to have the Severin Cellar and I'm really surprised that we haven't seen Vinegar Syndrome do a version of that, like maybe an archive version of that. Tree Williams. I miss, man. It is so. It. I was so sad. I watched Hair. Yes, I cried when I watched Hair. Oh no. They mentioned that Kevin Smith on Twitter. He had the Joel Schumacher version of Batman Forever, and because Twitter's a hateful place, like rather than be excited, exactly like my visit to patient video, rather than be excited about the fact that there's that that Kevin Smith had an unseen copy of of a film. They all got on like, well, he's going to cry about that, and or like, I can't believe Schumacher. That's going to have more bat nipples in it. Then the only thing it blows my mind that people think that like the movies that the bat movies that Schumacher made are Schumacher films. This is the guy that made like 8mm. He can be really, really dark if he wants to be. Come with the Toronto Archive. I want to be there. I want to be there, man. Like my visit to Beijing. You must have really talked to them. You know how much I spent there, don't you? You do. I'm pretty sure you do. For those that don't know, if you own a movie store and I'm in your area and it's like you've got a lot of boutique labels and kind of like cool type of stuff, it's going to be a good week for your store. It's going to be a really good week for your store. I can tell you that right now. I remember my stories, yeah. And I would love to get back there again. The under new management, I hear. I got to speak to the manager last time I was there. Actually, even in such a nice way too. Like I was in the store, and it was it's winter, right? So I come inside. It's after like I bought some stuff, and so the manager guy he comes out, and he talks to me. Like he didn't have to do that. Like there's nothing like there's no issues. You didn't have to do that. He did that. And I was like, yeah, I will 100% come back here again. Because I can't imagine a better experience than I had there. I know. Luckily, thanks to Bay Street Video, I have both William Castle sets from Indicator. Got them at the same time. The much lauded after first volume of William Castle that sold out. I got that from there, and did I get it from the sale? I can't remember where I got there where I got Bergman from. I think Bergman was like was a Christmas gift from my better half, which I got to dive into. I still haven't dived into the Bergman set. Like, there's just been so much, and I've been trying to catch up and get in. I've been watching things recently, getting into titles and finding ones that I love, and I'm starting to find like companies that I don't think get talked about. Grindhouse releasing those amazing stuff. Why is nobody talking about Grindhouse releasing? Death Game that should have been up there with Showgirls and like as in hype and excitement, but it wasn't. And it's such a good movie. It is such a good movie, and it's such a good set, but nobody talks about it. And it's a shame. Like I got it right here. Look at this. Amazing. Just amazingly done. Incredible features, extra films on here. Cauldron too. There's another company that I got to get more. I got to get some of their stuff. Warlock. That's the thing. I don't have any Cauldron releases. I almost picked up two when I was in Canada. It came, and this is. See what I'm holding in my hand right here. This was a bit pricey, but I really wanted it, and I went back in like really bad weather when buses were getting canceled to go and buy this, and it was this or two Cauldron films. I'm not even kidding. Two Cauldron films. And I said, I'm getting this right now. But next time I go back, I'm going to buy some Cauldron stuff. And I'm so glad because this one of the best sets I own. I just like as the first single movie. I just love this set, and I love both films on here. Both films were really good. There's a second movie on here too that is very similar in a different way to Death Game, and I'd never seen that film before, and it like blew my mind. The good thing about having this kind of like this chair right here. Do you like this chair, guys? I like this chair. Is I can just like whirl around and like get stuff. I don't even have to move from my And with that being said, it's disturbing, especially when it is such a good movie. Did you watch the? Did you get set? If you did, watch the other film that's on there. It's disturbing and good, but in a different way. So, can I talk about some regular channel? Okay, we're going to risk it. So the second film on Death Game, there's another film. And so Death Game, if you've never seen it, it's about this guy whose wife has to go to town, and two girls in the middle of a rainy night knock on his door, pretty much say they got the wrong address, go inside to make a phone call, and wait for a cab, and end up staying and seducing him, and things go downhill from there. If that sounds familiar, and you say, I've never seen Death Game, but I think that really sounds familiar. Well, you probably saw Knock Knock with Keanu Reeves, which is a remake Death Game by Eli Roth. And but they're in the other film that's on the disc, and I will apologize. It's a Knock Knock from the 70s. That there, I don't remember the name of the second film, but second film, basically there's this guy, and he's a music, I think he's a music producer. He works in the music industry, and there's these two girls, and they hitchhike to get a ride with them to go home with them, and like there's a bit like the selection is much more on an even keel. Like he seduces, they're younger girls too. That's the thing, but they're supposed to be, I guess. And it becomes to the point where he can't get them to leave. And they're like, okay, we'll leave, but you have to do this with us first. So you have to give us this. And a lot of it is like erotic in nature. We'll put it at that. Little Miss Innocence, thank you. But they get them to the point where they break him. Where when they finally decide, okay, we're going, I'm just spoiling things, but I don't care. It's the ride, not the ending. He's a broken man. He's like, no, please come back, just one more day, type of thing. It's just a great film. For me, it was a great experience anyway. But very different, very unique. Not something I expected. When I picked up Death Game, picked to watch Death Game, see the interviews with the actors, Colleen Camp, they steal my heart. Yeah. Anyway, random tangent there. Yeah, this all started with like the Scream Factory going on a lull. I think Scream Factory is like many companies, is that they come up and down. I think Vinegar Syndrome is the one. Kitten with the Whip. I forgot about that one actually. I forgot about that one. But the reason I mentioned this before, and if you're back here about an hour ago, I mentioned this release because I do think some people are wondering if the Clones of Bruce Lee set is going to be coming for this here sale. It might, but I would be kind of surprised. And I'll tell you why. Right now, the Clones of Bruce Lee documentary is at the Tribeca Film Festival. And if it's anything like the Ali Hansby Hours, then what they'll do is they'll let the documentary go through the festival circuit. And I'd say then you look at a September-ish release for the box set. That's what I would assume. Maybe they're not going to do it like the way they did. Maybe they're not going to think it's going to be as quickly acclaimed as the first Kelly Genius documentary. And they may say, okay, well, we're going to get it in the festival and then get it out there into a box set. Maybe that's what to do. But either way, if it doesn't happen, if you don't get set, I say in a couple of months, 2-3 months, it'll come out. This here, you watch this. Watch this. Pick it up. Watch it. You'll be hyped for the set. I think this has been a very productive like video overall. It went in so many different directions, and I love every direction it's gone in. And it's all because of you guys, because you've asked, not I'm gonna say the right questions, but asked really, really good questions. And that's truly what fuels me. Like I love, like, here, I love doing live stream videos. It's probably my favorite part of of YouTube. Now I enjoy like my more scripted, edited pre-tape videos as well. He's giving me motivated. I'm easy. But there's something like particularly special when we get on a really like a deep dive into a topic that I think is something that needs to be talked about. And I think that is something that a lot of people have been wanting to talk about. We've started to see videos come up. We started playing CHH talked about like, we think Scream Factory may have the peaked video, which I do recommend you watch, by the way. It's a good video. But you get asked a question. It means it's out there. It's in the zeitgeist. It's in people's minds. And people see Vinegar Syndrome. Right now, it's a boutique label. In the same way that people see like Criterion, it's hyped. It gets the hype. Around 5 years ago, following YouTube, like trends and stuff like that, every time there's a Criterion sale, good friend on the channel, but Logan Toxic, a director now, directed some films. He did YouTube did a lot of YouTube videos at the time, and even made a Criterion sale song, which me and my better half of my kids, I kid you not, would sing in the car. We knew the words. Like I'd sing a bit of it, then my kids would be in the back and they'd start to sing some of it, and him would be right next, and she'd sing some of it too. So yeah, the Criterion sale song lives rent free in our heads for life. So anytime Criterion sale would happen, that hype, that thing, you would see channel, it would pop up like crazy. Like Criterion release. Here's my Criterion release. This is what I'm getting for the sale. This is some picks for the sale. So Criterion sales coming up. Let's dive into that. And you still get that, but it seems to have shifted a bit to like the Vinegar Syndrome sales coming up. Here's Vinegar Syndrome sale. Here's my picks for the Vinegar Syndrome sale. Here's some things if you're new for the Vinegar Syndrome sale. And look, I'm not saying anything again. That's what I do. It's my channel. It's my thing. I definitely built a brand around it to a point where there's a point where I felt like boxed in. And I was like, oh my God, I can't breathe. Are people just going to know me for Vinegar Syndrome? Luckily, people know me for a lot of boutique labels. But you get to that point, like as a content creator, you get to that point. Get excited for any sale. That's the thing. We were getting a bit more of that now. We're getting a bit more people coming out there, or there's a Kino sale. But for the sale that would, if you were a content creator, Rye, if you're looking at stuff and you knew a Criterion sale was coming up, oh, you were like, yes, oh yes. Okay, what Criterion's going to talk about? What can I? Okay, all right. I've got the Jock to Me box set. I've got that. We can do this. I can get a video out of this, maybe two. Maybe I could watch other movies before the things. Like these are the things. These are the things you think about. Like I could lie and tell you like we don't, but of course we do. Viewership's important. About 10 tails at Blue Underground sale and 15 from MVD. I would have loved to buy things from. Okay, you're Canadian like me. So they ship. How is there shipping? I wanted to, like I'm not in Canada right now, but I do buy things and get sent to Canada, right? How is MVD shipping? Because that I've always been curious about, because I've never ordered from MVD like directly. And I know that they have fancy editions now, so that really has upped their game with them for me. I love their releases anyway. I love the 4Ks that are coming out. They got the CD like type of 4Ks. When they made the announcement, it's on Facebook, and they showed the Swamp Thing, the first one that they did. Because since then the Ghoulies has come out. It's been announced anyway. I'm like, I said, okay, that's a CED design. But I said, no, nobody's going to know CED. So I said, I'm going to hedge my bet. I said, okay, cool. That's a Laserdisc type looking design. And they came back. The guy they responded like within 5 minutes. He was like, no, actually, it's based on. You may not remember this, but CEDs. I'm like, that's what I wanted to say, but I didn't think. You ship stuff to your U.S. friends. Oh, what has changed with the partner labels? That Funcy Editions would go from OCN to MVD. Have they gotten better, Warlock? Like I know you keep in contact with them and like their stuff. Has I'm not sure if you've gotten better when it comes to like public relations. Like for a lot of people, like that, it's not a huge deal. But for somebody like who went to school for this, um, yeah, like Rye, like me, has had issues. I sent a question, just a question, to unobstructed view once, and they went out and they canceled the release. They canceled my part of my order. I so it's this order. I know some of the orders being sent. Is this one being sent too? And they said no, we can't get this one sent right now. And then I went back and said, okay, so how? So did you know like is there a time frame? They just canceled it. No response, no anything. They just canceled it. And that like this is a company. So for reference stuff, Unobstructed View is a company in Canada that I feel like I'm mansplaining. It's so horrible. Um, anyway, they're a company in Canada that's trying to be Diabolic DVD for Canada, but they don't have the customer service that Diabolic DVD does, and it's been it's been here. I've heard of them canceling orders without notice, and people, yes, still, and it bothers me that they're just the official, by the way, the official distributor for movies like Criterion and MVD now. Friend left the company during pandemic. All went downhill. Okay. What's schedule for Vinegar Syndrome titles? We don't know yet. What's there like? Okay. Oh yes, I know what you mean. Let me just check because I did like for those that don't remember, when they posted their because all this changes, right? Obviously. So initially, the July 2023 titles. This is what they're going to be. Like obviously, things are like if wrestling card is subject to change. July 2023, three titles totaling 155.94 MSRP pricing, including three horror titles and exploitation Blu-ray discs, including a multi-film collection. So that was initially the what was email always got fixed. Not so anymore. It is so sad. But yeah, as far as like before, and obviously things changed because there was meant to be that 10 movie box set, and I'm not sure where that's fitting into the schedule for Vinegar Syndrome right now. But the July releases, when they were initially announced last year, were going to be three releases in total, three horror exploitation Blu-rays with a multi-film collection set. So hopefully we'll get like another multi-film collection set out of there. They don't release of Hellgate recently. So for those, because I know some people are going to be slightly confused, I'm going to bring up Unobstructed View so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Like the stuff that I got from them was good, but the ability to get stuff from them was hard. So I'll show you guys right now. So this here is Unobstructed View. Their website is pretty damn cool the way it looks now, by the way. You could find things here that you couldn't find anywhere else. They had like right there is their that is their don't be a pitch their version of Hellgate. You can see it's got its own cool little like slip cover right there. It's their first like own release. You get a trailer for the read. And their bargain bin was really, really good. This is where I managed to find like a ton of things. Like they when I went through, like they had like when I say a good bargain bin, I mean like a really good bargain bin. Like I went into the horror section. I'm not sure what it's like now, but you could go through and you could be finding stuff here. Like I was a different hand letter from I would rather say actually. Um, like Cursed Undead, there is the keynote title. You get stuff. You get some different stuff. I'd find like a lot of Blue Underground releases in here initially. Looks like there's a lot of keynote stuff here for the and like this is just the bargain bin section. But they would go and you could when you go to the store, you could see like they have the Ken Burns effect one there, like Keanu Lorber's June Swoon. Um, it's a company that I really want. If more than anything else right now, I would say is please, please, you could be a big thing. I want you to be a big thing. I really do. Get it together. If you don't have somebody working well on public relations, or if you're consistently have not responding to emails or you're just canceling orders, then the person that makes that decision, I don't care how high up that person is, that person's got to go. Because it's like you're putting out 5 slipcovers and saying you're going to destroy them, but you're doing it on a weekly basis. When you could be riding to a whole new level. That's my thought when it comes to that. And there's nothing that disappoints me more than like wasted potential. And this is you're on the cusp. You're on the precipice of getting there. But that's the thing. I mean, like, there's the thing. It's not that there's conversations like this, Warlock. It's that there's experiences that have caused conversations like this. If there wasn't experiences, then there would be no conversations that happen. If Severin didn't initially botch a sale 2 years in a row and did like really bad takes on it initially, it may not have taken Severin as long to get where they are right now, but they've gotten there. And you realize because you have to be able to say, okay, I messed up. Let's do better. And conversations like this should not be what stops them or making it hard for them to come back. Conversations like this should be the reason that they come back. It should be that light bulb moment. And trust me, running a channel for over 11 years, I've had a lot of light bulb moments where I've made mistakes. I'm like, let's course correct here. You got to course correct. Point was, us collectors talk to each other exactly, and that's that's the thing, and they have to understand that okay, it's not working in a bubble, and they may be doing well, and I don't doubt that they're doing well. They've gotten a lot of like, and they may be talking well to like companies, but it has to trickle down because if it doesn't, then companies eventually it gets to the consumers, and then it gets to people like me, and then it eventually gets to the Heaths and the Bryans, and when it gets to that point and it gets to that level, then those people talk to companies like they're one on one, like they talk to the company. So if they're hearing bad things, it's going to get back to the company, and then the company may rethink in the future. Yeah, the potential is there. So it's again, I'm rooting for them. I hope they do it. They need it. Canada needs it. We have a huge like love of cinema. We are a twisted company, country, and when it comes to like in the movies and stuff, we like some pretty crazy stuff, guys, and we're big exploitation fans. Yeah, we're movie fans. We're stuck indoors. We've got winter. Like you have winter there. Like for a long period of time. We get a long winter. We're inside the house. We want stuff to watch. We want companies we can buy that stuff from. They had done an extra $10 charge for box set shipping. Really? And everything Canada too. Like you think of that Warlock, and you think like how good Vinegar Syndrome does their shipping. And like initially, that was like one dude, man. That started one dude that would hire on other people during big sales for the Vinegar Syndrome stuff before they like really got in there. And that guy was amazing. I had an issue. One of my Vinegar Syndrome, like it was a sale order, so it was taking longer. So this is coming from Canada. So many money left on the table. Oh god, this is going to be this. Yeah, this may be quote today. Uh, and he didn't just like send me an impersonal email or ignore me. The dude called me. Like I was on break at work, and I get a phone call like this number. I'm like, who's this? And I answer the phone, and it's the guy that's putting stuff out from Vinegar Syndrome. It's the guy. He calls me, and I'm like, this is the best experience ever from a company I've had. Like the guy that's shipping this stuff out, it's going to be a little bit late because the T-shirt is hasn't come in yet, and he's calling me to let me know and to just confirm everything's going to be okay. Yes, 100%. Did that like help my experience when it comes to Vinegar? I bought more. Yeah, that's pretty sure that's his name, Andrew, right? Yes, and thanks to Andrew Rye, I bought more from Vinegar Syndrome in that time period due to him, due to that call. That he sold more for me than 10 flashy announcements or could do because I appreciated that level of dedication and service, and that was hopefully Andrew's a guy that keep around for a long time because I know he's not here, and he's probably don't know who I am, but yes, he did amazing. Hopefully, if I go to Ontario or something like that, or I'm at a convention, I'll see him there. I can thank him in person. I can actually tell him, maybe in front of Vinegar Syndrome, that he did sell stuff. He directly sold stuff for me, and that is absolutely incredible. Pool of us who collect things consistently isn't massive or limitless either. So many choices these companies are making feel like they're not taking that into. It's true. On not just on the relations, on all sides of it. Like when you look at things and you're like, and there's so many. It's become the point where there's so many of them out there, and we no longer know who's always going to be out there. Here's the thing: we recently lost network. That was a massive loss, like a massive loss to the collecting industry. If you collect, especially if you collect UK titles, you collect television stuff. Network was a gut punch for a lot of people. Nobody expected it. We knew that the guy from Network that he passed away, and maybe looking back on it, like remembering things like Twilight Time stuff, that maybe we should have known, but I didn't. I didn't. So it's a crowded space, and much like the streaming wars, where like you got all these different streaming companies, not everybody's going to survive it. Not everybody's going to come in on the other side. We're going to have favorite companies that aren't. They may not. Remember Twilight Time is a big thing. Remember when people come on like Twilight Time sales and they show all their Twilight Time stuff. It's a different time for collectors. It's a golden time. There's when you could go to your local Walmart and find rows upon rows of movies and bins and like all this type of stuff. You couldn't find this. You could look all through. You could see lots of new releases and uh, DVDs and just regular stuff, but you wouldn't find things like this. This wouldn't have been a thing during the big era of like, well, you could go to your store and buy whatever you want to buy. It's only through direct sales direct selling that companies do, whether it be a subscription service, a sale, working with like other distributors when they can't do direct sales, like the partner labels and Vinegar Syndrome, like Diabolic DVDs work, like hopefully the increasingly better work from Unstructured View, which is what we want, that a lot of this stuff is coming about, that a lot of people are getting to buy the stuff. I always was excited, but expected this to be a thing one day because he's an amazing director and I love his films and it's someone that I think is important that people talk about. Never in my wildest dreams would I imagine this would be a thing. If you had told me to write down, give me a piece of paper, a piece of like, and say, okay, you got a list of 50 names. I'll write them down. Who you think is going to be a massive like extensive box set with documentary of. This would not have been in those 50 names. I would never have guessed it. Never have thought it. In a million years, this would not have come to me. But I'm so glad we are at a time that we've gotten to a place in collecting where this and this can not only exist, but come from the same company. Remember earlier on when you mentioned and you asked about like, what about the identity? Somebody asked about the identity of a company. What about when you see a film that you don't think fits with a certain company, like you fits with more of a like this is more of a Scream Factory, this is more of a Vinegar Syndrome. They're listed. The two next Fun City titles not even listed on the Fun City site. Seriously, we'll check that out in a second, actually. But here you go, guys. This and this exist not only at the same time, but they exist from the same company. Let that sink in. How mind blowing is it that both of these exist from not from the same company? Because for me, let's see if I can get the link to show up for me. For me, that blows my mind. So I'm going to get the link to work, and I know what it is. So I'm going to mute myself for a second. Sometimes I surprise myself. Had to mute myself so that when I went to the YouTube, I wouldn't be hearing myself like echo. That's the exactly. They take chances. They do things like House of Psychotic Women, which is one that I truly need because I want it, and I want the new updated book. Bundlings. I bought that really expensive Al Adamson bundle stuff when it came out, and that is like love for me. Okay, we got Fatal Femmes. Is this them? So Primetime Panic 2. We know this one. Party Girl, of course. We got Standard Edition coming to that one. Looks like there's a DVD. A new. Didn't Morven Collar come out before? I don't remember this. Oh, wait a minute. No, this came out from Fun City Editions. Is this Fun City Editions? Is this new? Speed of Love, Samantha Morton. Fatal Femmes. From the neon underworld of an 80s Paris comes two stylish, atmospheric film noirs. Juliette Berteau and Jean-Henri Rogers. Berteau is a barmaid in the red light Bajal district who attempts to score for deceased drug dealers' friends' clients. Christina Pascal's Isabelle Hubert is the woman at the heart of a Hitchcockian tale set in the world of French high culture. Oh, yes, 100%. Damn. Sam Deegan commentaries on both. Booklet essays with Steve McFarlane, Alexandra Heller Nicholas. That's an exciting one. Thank you. I didn't know that. So we got a repackaged for Morven Collar. Fatal Femmes. So this is new one, though, right? I can't believe that Vinegar Syndrome missed out on Party Girls. It's still, I still wonder to this very day what the heck happened between Fun City Editions and TerraVision and OCN. Like, what happened there? I want to be in the room where it happened. For my musical band, you'll get that reference. All right. And with that being said, not wanting to take up too much more of your very busy day, especially here on a Wednesday. And you know what that is? Well, if you're a wrestling fan, you know what it is. Anyway, if you're Darcy the Mail Girl, you know it's AEW night. Better deal. Like, that's the thing. Been hit with, like, that'd have to be one heck of a better deal. Because OCN's really puts. Competition is happening somewhere behind the scenes, guys. Competition is happening. Femmes in September. Prime time's out in August. Prime time's going to be a good one. For those that didn't get the first prime time, let me see if we got it here. It's too far up there, unfortunately, for now. But the first Primetime Panic box set is amazing. It must be nice of Vinegar. Somebody gets it. That is so true. And with that being said, I want to thank you guys for watching today. I feel like I just did a Kung Fu thing. My name is Aaron. Thank you for joining me here today in the Call to Cinema. It has been Encrypto. Thank you, Steph, again, for getting the Ghost-Faced Art Secret shout out for today. I have had a blast. This has been, I'm not going to lie, one of my favorite live streams that I've done in quite a while. So thank you guys so much for coming in and for keeping it so active and so live. So I'll see you soon because we're going to be doing another one. And if you're a Patreon member, by the way, down below, we will be actually doing a live video on Patreon. And I'm trying to work into getting a guest host for the Severin sale as well. So see you there. And who knows, they may announce something in a couple of days and I'll be here doing something else. See you soon.